Place your feet underneath your hips, about 2 fist distance apart. Pick up all 10 toes. Drop down your big toes, your pinky toes, and your middle toes. Press your feet down into the earth and activate your quadriceps, hamstring, and glute muscles. Pelvic floor, lower abdominal, rib cage, and higher up until underneath the breast. Allow your heart to expand, drawing your shoulder blades back toward your spine, and press your fingertips down toward the earth and away from the body, activating the tricep muscle. Palms facing out. Chin in a neutral position and crown of the head drawing toward the sky. Mountain pose. Draw elbows and hands up to the sky. Inhale, upward salute, connect the hands, and exhale, forward fold, hands to blocks. Bending at the knee, shifting the hips back. Inhale to a half back, placing the hands on the thighs, nice straight spine, crown of the head shining out. Forward fold, hands to blocks. Step back your left foot, drop down to your knee. Step back your right foot, drop down to your knee. Uncurl both toes, move blocks out of the way. Wrists are directly underneath your shoulders. Curl your toes, pick up your knees, shift back into downward facing dog. Nice flat spine, belly to the thigh for a nice open shoulder. As you become more flexible, you can begin to straighten the hamstrings, but for now, keep them bent belly to thigh. Inhale here. As you exhale, slowly shift down to the earth, knees to the mat, uncurl your toes. Walk your hands forward so you're at an angle. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, shift your shoulders over your wrists. Modified plank. Open up from the middle of the back, thoracic spine. Open the heart. Upward facing dog. Exhale, shift back into child's pose. Shifting back into that modified plank. Curl your toes, pick up your knees, shift back, downward facing dog. Walk your feet to your hands, using your blocks underneath your hands, knees are bent. This is for support. Forward fold. Inhale to half back. Exhale to a forward fold. Bend the knees deeply, round the spine. Come up one vertebrae at a time. And as your heart opens, elbows and hands to the sky, upward salute. Exhale, hands to heart. Mountain pose. Mountain pose. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half back. Exhale, forward fold. Step back left foot, drop to knee. Uncurl toes. Step back right foot, uncurl toes, move blocks. Place hands on the earth. Wrists underneath shoulders. Curl toes, pick up knees, shift back, downward facing dog. Inhale here, exhale, shifting into modified plank, dropping the knees behind the hips, uncurl toes, walk hands forward, activate the psoas muscles, pelvic floor, and abdominal muscles, shifting the shoulders over the wrists. Open the heart, shine the heart, lift the chin away from the chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, shifting back, child's pose. Shifting back into modified plank, wrists underneath the shoulders, curling the toes, picking up the knees, bending at the knee, downward facing dog, walking feet to hands, blocks underneath hands, forward fold, half back, forward fold, bend knees, round spine, come up one vertebrae at a time. Elbows and hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Mountain pose. Inhale, hands upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Half back. Forward fold. Step back left foot, drop to the knee. Step back right foot, drop to the knee. Place hands on the mat, wrists underneath, underneath shoulders, curl toes, downward facing dog. Shifting into modified plank, uncurl toes. Open up, expand the heart, upward facing dog. Shifting back, child's pose. Modified plank. Curl toes, downward facing dog. Walk feet to hands. Forward fold. Half back. Forward fold. Round the spine. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, hands to heart. For mountain pose, we have upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to blocks. We want to move the blocks outwards and up slightly so we have power in the hands. Belly is in. Step your left foot back and drop down to your knee. We want to make sure that your other knee, your right knee, the knee is not over the ankle or the toes. We want it directly underneath. So when you come into that pose, when you step back, you want to step far enough back so the angle of the right knee is in a good position, dropping down to the knee. Uncurl your toe and then place your other knee back behind you. Move the blocks out of the way. This is very important. Do not attempt a downward facing dog with blocks. So we have the knees behind the hips, not stacked. That's going to make it much more difficult on you. Wrists are underneath the shoulders. Curl your toes, pick up your knees, and shift your hips back. Now, for tight hamstrings, you want to bend your knees and draw the belly toward the thighs. So you don't want to be, in a half plank, half downward dog. You want to have the hips back, far back towards your heels. So as you get flexibility and strength, you can start to straighten out the thighs as well as draw the heels down. Right now, that's not too important. Draw the belly in. We're going to shift now into modified plank. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, you're going to shift the shoulders over the wrists and immediately put down your knees. Uncurl your toes. Press your hands into the earth. Activate your thigh muscles. So you want to imagine from your pelvic floor and higher, you're zipping up your core like you would a hoodie. So we're not pushing our pelvis forward and coming into the lower back. So as we come into that modified plank, we're fully in our belly. This is going to support us into that upward facing dog. So we open the heart, take the chin away from the chest. Shift back into child's pose before we come into that downward facing dog. Downward facing dog again, so we're back into that modified plank, fully in the belly. Pull the toes, pick up the knees, draw the belly toward the thighs, nice flat back. Looking toward my blocks, I'm going to walk my feet to my hands, grabbing my blocks, placing them underneath me for support, walking towards my blocks, forward fold. Inhale, half back. So here in this half back, we're going to hang out here for just a moment. The feet are separated hip distance apart. I have a bend in the knee to compensate for tight hamstrings. My hips are shifted back. Hands to the thighs, nice flat tabletop spine. The crown of my head is pointing outward. As I gain flexibility, I can begin to straighten the legs, still activating my hands on my thighs and possibly sliding my hands down. Bending at the knee, rounding the spine, either swan diving the hands up, or, as I prefer the core strength Vinyasa way, round the spine and allow the elbows and hands to go up to the sky so our shoulders are in a perfect position, and then come back into hands to heart. This is a modified chaturanga. Taking it from downward facing dog, plank, modified plank, chaturanga, and upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Placing both hands onto the mat, making sure the knees are behind the hips, curling toes, picking up knees, downward facing dog. Exhale, shift the shoulders over the wrists, plank. Dropping down to the knees, uncurl toes. Bend the elbows down, straighten the elbows, open up the heart, upward facing dog. Make your way into tabletop, and then modified plank. So tabletop is where the knees are directly underneath the hips, the wrists are underneath the shoulders. So we have a nice flat back. So if someone were to come sit on my back, be nice and strong. My belly's in. For modified plank, I want my knees behind my hips and my hands at an angle. I'm going to activate my core and shift my shoulders over my wrists. So now I'm at an angle. I'm going to go all the way down to the floor safely, engaging my belly. Dropping down to my right forearm, then my left forearm. Making a fist with my right and wrapping my left hand around my right wrist. My elbows are underneath my shoulders and I'm at an angle. Shifting my chin now over my wrists, I'm going to gently place my pelvis on the floor. This allows me to get on the floor all the way down without coming into my lower back. Now, I'm going to open up my arms, so my elbows are out to my side, pressing my forearms down, spreading out my fingers, pressing my pelvis down toward the floor, feet are flat, taking a deep breath as I exhale from my thoracic spine, just about where the bra line hits. I'm going to wave myself up and allow my chin to come away from the chest. Exhale down. So how would we come out of this pose safely? We come out of it similar to the way we come in, bringing the right hand right in front of the chest, making a fist. Wrapping the left hand around it. So my elbows are nice and tight to my body. Curling my toes and lifting my pelvis, not my knees, my pelvis. So I lift up my pelvis, engage my core, press down, lift up, shift back.